Hello, my spookies. Welcome to Vampire Therapist. This game has been on my list for a couple of reasons. First of all, Vampire Therapist, and that's what I've heard the game actually is. Like, you're giving therapy. Like, if you look down in the bottom right corner, like, this is... From what I've read about, they actually use, like, therapy techniques and mental health techniques and all that kind of stuff, giving therapy to vampires. But the biggest reason I'm playing this game is because, well, quite frankly, Matthew Mercer. I'm a massive Critical Role fan, and I heard Matthew Mercer was a voice actor in this game. And also Vampire Therapist. There's a demo of it, which I didn't think there was, and then there was, so I don't know if it just kind of appeared or if I just missed it somehow, but I'm giving the demo a shot, because why not? I've actually heard there's quite a few, like, big-name voice actors in this, so I'm very curious to see how that goes. Also, Vampire Therapist. Vampire Therapist explores or touches on sensitive topics such as war, abuse, addiction, sexual oppression, suicidal ideation, religion, and of course death. These may be uncomfortable or upsetting for some readers. We recommend that readers with a history of trauma related to any of these topics approach this game with caution. Naturally, a game about vampires will also involve blood and sexual themes. Strong language is also present. Vampire Therapist was developed in consultation with licensed therapists, but it should not be considered a substitute for therapy, unless you're a vampire. That's interesting. That's cool.
My name is Sam Walls, and I'm a dead man. Well, kinda dead at least. See, I'm a vampire.
It happens.
Now, if you think that means all that Dracula hooey, like hissing, wearing skin-tight leather, and hunting mortals for sport, I wouldn't blame you one bit.
There's nothing wrong with skin-tight leather.
That's exactly the sort of thing I did in my younger years with my former gang. And let me tell you, a vampire who's good with a gun can be a real terror. I got lucky, though. I met some kind mortals who saw beyond my fangs. They taught me my letters and showed me how my thinking was keeping me from finding any kind of peace. After they passed on, I roamed America's majestic wilderness for nigh on 90 years, figuring out myself and what it means to be a vampire. And I found revelation. What I realized was, it ain't fangs that make us monsters. It's the self-defeating ways we think. Anywho, as the world started getting smaller, my old vampire gang tracked me down. Them being my kin, I wanted to help them see the world like I did, but they still have the same monster mindset I used to have. Good thing I'm a quick draw. But I got hooked up with this newfangled internet thing and found a vampire who's helping my kin find their way. A fella named Andromachos, supposed to be 3,000 years old. He invited me to come out to Europe to learn from him. I figure someone older than time has got to have the answers. I'm going on a trip, I guess. This feels like my opportunity to do some good in the world. I've been lucky, and now it's time to give back. Vampires ain't monsters. Or at least, they don't have to be. And come hell or high water, I'm gonna prove it to them.
I love this so much.
Well, I think this is the address. Number 27, Clean Flitter Mouse Streeb?
I'm not even going to attempt to correct that in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. What? Clean Better Mouse What is that?
Sure is a hell of a lot of ruckus for this time of night. People stay up late here. Wait a minute. These folk are vampires. Better watch myself.
Oh no.
Guten Abend, folks. Sprechen Sie English?
Ja, hello, Alta. Are you here to party with us at the hottest club?
God, I love Matthew Mercer. Oh, what am I gonna do? Okay, well, you can tell in about 3 seconds that we're not here to party. Ask about the dress code. What's about the club?
What's so special about this club?
Immernacht is the greatest club aller Zeiten. The owner makes sure everyone has a good time.
If anyone acts without respect, they are banned from the club forever. You are free to do and be whatever you like, as long as you are harming no one.
Und I hear that they are now attracting sexy old cowboys.
Shh, Maxie, he is old enough to be your grandfather.
Gosh, that's a voice of one of the characters too. I mean, he does 8 billion characters, so it drives me nuts. D&D is my thing, and I got started with Critical Role. And if you don't know what that is, go look it up on YouTube immediately, and you're welcome. Honest to God, changed my life. I could go on forever about that show.
Oh, come on now. You're just flattering me. I'm only a couple 100 years old.
Oh mein Gott, he is so cute, Reinhard. Can I keep him?
Maybe I'm here to party.
Cut loose? What kind of party is this?
Let's go. Gonna cut
The
loose.
kind where we dance all night and get sexy.
Oh.
Oh, here are them kind of vampires.
Ach so, there are better things to suck than blood, oder?
Although we have to get past the bouncer first. If we do not, I'm thinking our night is ruined.
Oh.
Oh, wait a sec. There's something about what she just said. I can feel it. It reminds me of one of my revelations about the funny patterns in the way we vampires think. Well, let's see. One type of thinking I noticed I called hot branding. That's when we brand ourselves with names we can't get rid of. There's high noon mind. That's when we treat a situation like it's a do or die showdown. And there's saloon thinking. That's when we act either helpless or invincible, like we've just drunk a pint of moonshine.
Okay.
I can always check my journal if I need examples.
Thank
I
you.
kept all my notes about the funny ways we vampires think in there. I think I know which one of them funny ways they're thinking in, though.
But do you?
Hold on, compadres. You seem like the kind who can make their own fun.
Okay, hold on. Private property, do not read. Reward if found. Cowboy bloodsucker at vmail.com. Alright, I found this old notebook and I figured I'd take it with me to Europe. I figure it'll help me organize my thoughts. I'll separate it into sections so I can jump to them right quick. That way, when I need to get to a particular section of my notes, all I gotta do is hop over to that section. Easy as falling off a horse. And falling off a horse is real easy. Cognitive disorders, my clients, my ramblings? Okay, so the funny ways we think. I realize we vampires can think in funny ways sometimes. Like reality's right in front of us and we just can't see it. Heck, pretty sure it's all humans who do that, not just vampires. We do think funny thinking in particular ways, so I figured I'd write them down so I don't forget them. I'll include examples, that's what I need, so I remember how they work. High noon mind. Sometimes things can seem black and white, win or lose, famine or feast, live or die. Like everything's a big showdown. It can feel like we've got only two options, winning the day or ending up with a stake in the heart. That's high moon mind. It's thinking in extremes and ignoring all the in-between. We stress ourselves out when stakes are high. For example, if I can't get the best saddle, my butt's gonna break, ain't no doubt. Either I show up ready to win the rodeo, or I better just not show up. The fate of the Wild West is hanging on this gunfight. It might be that one. Saloon thinking. A lot of us bloodsuckers have a habit of either feeling responsibility or soul control, or of feeling completely hopeless. Thing is, usually neither is true. Feeling hopeless don't mean we're powerless, and feeling untouchable don't mean we're invincible. That's saloon thinking either way. Our real capabilities are somewhere in between. Examples. My dark powers, vampires shall dominate the mortal world! If a mortal discovers our secret, it's entirely my responsibility to deal with it. I can't deal with the bureaucracy of international travel with my coffin. I'm stuck in the USA forever. Okay, so actually, I think it's this one. You know, we have to get past the bouncer. So, or else, you know, we can't get in the club. Maybe? Hot branding. We vampires sometimes call ourselves awful names. I'm a failure. I'm unlikable. It's like burning ourselves with a big old branding iron. Every time we look at ourselves, we'll keep seeing those names. Hot branding is just calling ourselves names that do no good. Examples. I missed that shot. I'm such a butterfingers. Crying over a horse. You're sappy as hell. That fella doesn't like wearing leather. He's only a vampire wannabe. Okay. That makes sense. I don't have any clients. When I start getting therapy clients, I'll put my notes about them here. I'll update after every session. I figure I can see how they're doing over time. That is, so I went andromachos, but macos. Decides I'm ready for this whole therapist business. Cross my fingers. Just for writing my ramblings while I'm on this big trip, not my official notes. Oh, wait, hold on. March 14th, 2024. It's been about a week since I boarded the Monster of the Sea cruise ship, and I gotta say, I feel finer than frog hair. People here are eating and screwing like there's no tomorrow on account of the fact that we're in the middle of the ocean. I've drank from more necks in the last week than I can count. And since the ship's open all night, I rode a water slide for the first time in my life. My unlife. People were laughing at me for saying yeehaw, but what else do you say to experience like that? March 22nd. Landed in Rotterdam the other day. In Amsterdam now, arranging for transportation for my coffin. Did some vampire sighting. Apparently, this place has been accepting of heathens like us for a long time. I went to a vampire coffee shop. They funnel in stoners from upstairs to a secret club, and everyone has themselves a grand old time. Gave me the munchies, something fierce. I could go for some blood crisps. Extra sodium, if you please. April 9th. Writing from Berlin today. I head to Leipzig? I'm terrible with my German. Don't even. I'm sorry. Tomorrow night, but figured I should check things out here. They got a club where people are up all night doing all kinds of kinky stuff. I'm pushing a quarter of a millennium in years, but these folks can give me some lessons, and did. Met some fine folk, too. Apparently, they've got a nice art scene here. There's even local funding for video game development. Ain't this some kind of world? I can't believe people are still playing Star Invaders and whatnot. I like it here. I don't even have to speak German. Ain't nothing more to read. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that would be the saloon thinking, right? We gotta get past them. What else are we gonna do?
I don't want to have my own fun. Immernacht is the only place to be on Friday night.
Okay, I said saloon thinking, right?
Wait a second. She's acting like this is all or nothing. Do or die.
Oh.
What'd I call that again?
Okay.
Maybe I ought to check my journal.
I already did that. Okay, so it's not that one. Okay. They kind of look the same. Okay, no, it's not hot branding. So it would be high moon night. So we gotta get in there, I guess. There. Wait. I already checked it.
I don't want to have my own fun. Immernacht is the only place to be on Friday night.
Amigos, you're putting too much weight on this thing. It's a nightclub, not a high noon showdown. The night's full of possibilities.
Reinhard, I don't know what this means, but I like the way the sexy American talks.
You make us think that maybe it is better we haven't gotten into the club, because we are now meeting you.
Hey, if meeting me makes your night better, I'm glad we met. I really gotta find Andromachos, though.
You have to get past the bouncer. He decides who gets in and who doesn't. And he hasn't looked our way all night.
Maybe I'll have a little word with him. Excuse me, friend. I hear you're the man to talk to around these parts. I'm here to see Andromachos.
Have fun, mate.
Hey, thanks, amigo. You have yourself a fine night, you hear?
Cowboy, what about us?
Bring them joy. Why would I dash their hopes? I will bring them
Yeah,
joy.
sure, they're friends of mine.
Have fun, mate.
Well, come on, you two. We ain't got all night. Yeah. Dang, awful loud in here.
What?
Come on, my liver, dance with us!
Oh, you kids have fun. I'll catch up with you later. Tarnation, I'd rather hear a gopher giving birth than this.
What?
I better talk to whoever's slinging drinks in this here saloon. They ought to know where Andromachos is. Pardon me, ma'am.
Well, look at you. We get a lot of 80s fashion in here, but not usually the 1880s. What can I get you, cowboy? The special's Red Bull and vodka. You down?
That's called something. I don't drink very much. Can't
I
remember.
never drink Red Bull.
I've never had a Red Bull. Energy drinks? Oh, Lord. Listen, me on my own-ness is enough.
I'm actually looking for the owner. He around tonight?
Might be. What do you say your name was?
Sam Walls, begging your pardon.
Sam Walls, huh? I don't think I know anything about a Sam Walls. After all, I'm just a know-nothing bartender.
Wait, no, that one's the hot branding.
From where I'm standing, I see someone with style and confidence, not just a drink machine. Don't go branding yourself like that's all you are.
Don't you go worrying about me, cowboy. The man upstairs warned me you were coming. I was just testing to see if you are who you say you are. Tell you what, let me give you something from our special reserve. I don't think you're looking for booze.
Well, thank you kindly, ma'am. I was wondering where the blood was. I met some vampires outside, so I figured this was a vampire club.
You met some gods, honey. They're here to dance and have fun.
So all these people are mortals?
How do you think the head vampire gets his blood? They can't wait to share it with him. It's a special experience.
They're just goths. They're not vampire.
He's the only real vampire here. Well, him and Bert.
Bert?
You met him already. Bert, shuffle on over here.
Was it the bouncer?
This one's here to see the big guy. Show him upstairs, okay?
Have fun, mate.
Good luck up there, cowboy. Hope you find what you're looking for.
Wait, so is she a vampire?
Howdy. It's Sam Walls to see you, sir. The guy who's been sending you all them V-mails.
Females, gosh.
Yes, I know who you are, Samuel Walls. You have come here because you believe you can help our kin.
That's just cool.
The question is, are you first able to help yourself?
I guess if you live for 3,000 years, you get super cool, epic voices. Of course I can help myself.
I've been fixing myself for more than a century now. I don't think I need help.
Then you must prepare to learn a most difficult lesson. We all need help, Samuel. I am pleased that you have come to receive mine.
Dang, you scared the heck out of me.
You must allow an ancient vampire his games. He will play them regardless. Please, sit down. What an absolute pleasure it is to meet you at last. I found your messages most intriguing.
Afraid there ain't much here in the way of intrigue. I'm just a lonesome cowboy looking for answers.
You know, I receive emails every day from vampires seeking my help. You are the very first to seek my aid in helping others. This alone makes you intriguing.
Well, dang. I think you're gonna be sorely disappointed when you get to talking to me. I'm just honored you're giving me the time of night.
Actually, you're kind of doing some hot branding there. Don't talk negatively about yourself.
I have unlimited time, Samuel. I am pleased to share some of it with you. Our kind can be rather set in their ways. It is inspiring to see someone so young and eager to learn.
Yeah, well, I wasn't much for learning when I was alive. Just making up for lost time, I guess.
It sounds as though you have been handling your own life better than most. I was particularly intrigued by these revelations you had while walking in nature.
Oh yeah, them. Well, I give walking the credit. Nothing sorts my thoughts out better. After a few decades, I started seeing patterns in the way we vampires think.
Can you explain some of these patterns?
I've tried to explain them to other vampires, but it ain't never gone well. I can try, though. See, we tend to assume certain things just because we've been believing them since we were alive. Or we decide the world's against us just because we're hungry or tired or something. And when we start tackling problems that ain't real, we ain't fixing our real problems. That make any kind of sense?
Fascinating, Samuel. These revelations that you had in the woods, Mortal psychologists have a term for them. They are called cognitive distortions.
Cognitive whoozy what now?
Cognitive distortions. They are exactly as you described them. I will explain in a moment. Please, tell me about these specific revelations you had.
Okay.
I realize that as vampires, we can get the feeling of the power that comes with immortality and strength, but then we get hopeless and aimless over time. It's kind of like the fella you see in the saloon at the bottom of a bottle of whiskey. Either he thinks he can fight everyone, or he's crying into them last drops because he thinks life's hopeless. It's saloon thinking. Two extremes that probably ain't true.
A fascinating observation, Samuel. Your saloon thinking was described in my time as the battle between hubris and nemesis, the twin excesses of arrogance and self-pity.
Oh man, it make me wish I'd gotten some schooling. Maybe I would have figured this stuff out earlier.
You live forever, my friend. There is no rush. What you have identified is a phenomenon where individuals perceive either an illusion of control or a lack of control. Mortal psychologists call this phenomenon you have described a control fallacy. Rarely do we have complete power over our situations or no power at all. But we create this illusion that stops us from attempting to change our perceived situations.
It's in my book. Ah, okay. Control fallacy. A lot of us bloodsuckers have a habit either of feeling responsibility or sole control, or of feeling completely hopeless. Thing is, usually neither is true. Feeling hopeless don't mean we're powerless, and feeling untouchable doesn't mean we're invincible. This is a control fallacy either way. Our real capabilities are somewhere in between. Examples: with my dark powers, vampires should dominate the mortal world. Oh, wait, I already did this one. Did they? Oh, so oh, you just changed saloon to control fallacy. I see. I see. Did you talk about the goths? Yeah. Okay, I understand. So you just changed the name.
Yeah, you're right about that. I used to think I'd never get away from my gang. And maybe that's what made me stick with them for so long.
Yes, you see how cognitive distortions keep us from facing reality, whatever that reality may be. Of course, I am so old and powerful that I am always in control.
Okay, so that would be the control fallacy, because you're not.
Oh, you're testing me, ain't you? That's a control fallacy right there.
Well done, Samuel. I am indeed very powerful, but the cosmos holds no awareness of Andromachos. Of course, as you expertly pointed out with your analogy about the man at the bottom of a whiskey bottle, a control fallacy can be positive or negative. Listen to my next few statements and try to find a control fallacy. Simply let me continue if you do not detect one.
Okay, so it's either the high point or the low point.
The sun will eventually burn out. I will roam a cold, dead earth, and there is little I can do about it.
Well, that sounds like one of them control fallacies. With all eternity, heck, I think you could do something to save the sun.
I applaud your optimism and ambition, Samuel, but some things we must
Okay,
be prepared
I
to accept.
thought so. I
and
just
the death
didn't
of the
know if,
sun
like,
is one
there's
of them.
nothing I
But
could
let us
do
continue.
about it. Okay, so if there's nothing you can actually do about it, it doesn't
My
count.
kitty cat died. I shall be lonely forever.
Okay, so that's not true, because you're not going to be lonely. But, oh, poor kitty.
I'm sorry about your sweet kitty, but you could always pick up a new one. Or there's lots of them just waiting for a loving home, so you don't need to be lonely.
It was just an example, Samuel. Well spotted. But I do speak from experience. I felt this way once when a pharaoh I was dating had our cat mummified.
What?
I went into a murderous depression that nearly decimated the continent. But I had the power to help myself all along by adopting a new friend in need of a home.
It happens, I guess.
Oh, dang, don't let me get on your bad side.
I doubt you shall see it, Samuel. Did you have more revelations to tell me about?
See, I used to be in a gang. They were my whole existence. If you asked me who I was, I would have said, I'm a murdering bastard. Once I got away, I realized how small-minded that was. I was Sam before I was a murdering bastard, but that's how I was choosing to brand myself. My old gang's still around, and they're still branding themselves like that. They can't see themselves as anything but killers.
Very astute, Samuel. I favor the clinical term, however, which is labeling. You correctly discovered that labeling is a reductive act. When we call ourselves names, even if we find them accurate, we create prophecies we are doomed to fulfill. For millennia, I thought of myself as a killer. It was not untrue that killing was how I made my way in the world. I was an unstoppable warrior and assassin. But with this label, I limited myself for ages. I did not only kill people, I also killed potential aspirations I might have had. See whether you can catch me doing some labeling in my next few statements. I am so old, I am ancient.
That count? I didn't know if that actually... that doesn't... I don't think that counts.
Call me whatever you like, but don't call me late for dinner.
No.
How shall I describe myself? Yes, I am a mass murderer.
Okay, that's
Well,
illegal.
that's about as clear a labeling as it gets. Yeah, we vampires tend to do a lot of killing, but reducing ourselves to killers ain't doing us any favors.
Excellent, Samuel. You are correct. Labels can be cages that we lock ourselves in. I was a mere murderer for most of my existence because that is how I labeled myself.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Sam Walls, the murderer, reprobate, and good for nothing.
Those are not how I would describe the Sam Walls I see before me. Did you have more revelations to tell me about?
Well, I noticed how we stress ourselves out by making everything a battle of do-or-die absolutes. High noon mind, I call it. Like that feeling you get right before a big shootout.
I must confess I have no experience with this feeling. I engaged in mortal combat long before the age of gunpowder. But the sentiment you describe mirrors the words of my old friend Marcus Aurelius. He used to say that the magnitude of life's challenges often turn us into our worst selves.
You mean Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor?
Oh, that one.
Of course, his name was Marcus. Marcus was a bedroom name.
Oh.
You mean you and the emperor were...
It was ancient Rome. Penetration was similar to a handshake. My apologies. I somehow forgot you were American. But let us discuss this high noon mind.
I forgot you were back in. Oh, let's move on.
I believe we can broaden your definition. Mortal psychologists call this phenomenon of binary thought polarized thinking, but I like to call it Nosferatu thinking.
Nah, Nosferatu.
Nosferatu thinking?
It means you are thinking in black and white.
If you do not know, Nosferatu, I mean, I'm sure it came from much other older stuff, but, like, the Nosferatu I know he's an old vampire. I think, in terms of, like, movie-wise, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that Nosferatu, the old black and white movie, came before the classic Dracula movie that we all know, because Nosferatu, I think, was a silent film. Super fascinating history behind that movie, where it doesn't exist. It was lost, destroyed, something happened, and Nosferatu, the movie, does not exist. It's there's pictures and clips and, like, little itty bitty tiny pieces of it, but, like, in its full length, it was unfortunately lost, but it's kind of like this cult classic thing of, like, oh, the original. And, you know, Dracula is suave and handsome and all that kind of stuff. Nosferatu is just ugly and decrepit. But I do believe the movie came first. Nosferatu. And that's how I know Nosferatu. I believe it comes from a book, which is very first, and I have no idea the timeline of, like, all right, whose book came out first, but just another vampire.
I get it. That's pretty funny.
I believe it encompasses the breadth of the distortion. One is not flatly weak or strong, good or evil, smart or stupid, a success or a failure. The truth is far more complex and colorful.
That's true.
Not every high noon gunfight ends in oblivion, correct?
Well, yeah, that's true. Getting shot still ain't fun, but it ain't the end neither.
A perfect example, Samuel. Now, try to catch me using Nosferatu thinking. I will give you a series of statements, and one of them will contain Nosferatu thinking. I will repeat them if you miss it. If I do not drink blood, I will surely die.
Well, that's a fact. so I don't think so.
Death eventually comes for us all.
Again, I think that's a fact.
Mortals will always fear our kind.
Not true.
That's Nosferatu thinking right there. I've met mortals who knew who I was and weren't scared.
Very good, Samuel. And even if you hadn't, to say mortals will always fear us ends any hope that they might not.
That's my therapist, because I have one, and everyone, honest to God, go get a therapist. Even if you think you don't need one. A therapist does not mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean there's something horribly wrong or broken or terrible about you. It's just good to have someone to talk to. And here's someone else who gives you, their thoughts on situations that happen. And sometimes that's all you really need, is just someone to talk to, so you're not just inside your own head. And she gets at me all the time for that one of stop using always and never. And I'm like, oh yeah, and this always and blah, blah. And she goes, okay, does it always okay, it doesn't always happen. That one, I get in trouble with that a lot.
Always is such a terminal word, is it not? Would you like to discuss more of your revelations with me?
I think that's all of them. Or at least the ones that were the most obvious to me.
That you recognize the concept of cognitive distortions at all is most impressive, Samuel. What took me nearly 3 millennia to understand took you merely 2 centuries.
Oh, come on, you're just flattering me. I'm just a dope stumbling his way through one life.
That's labeling.
Are you now? Tell me, Samuel, what kind of cognitive distortion are you exhibiting when you call yourself a dope?
Yeah, I'm doing some labeling. I gotta watch myself, huh?
As long as we retain any humanity, we will have cognitive distortions. What we are aiming for is not to become perfect beings, but to understand and accept ourselves. As long as we can recognize cognitive distortions, we can address our real challenges. One cannot drink blood from a straw man, after all.
I ain't never heard that one before, but I like it.
If it helps solidify the concept in your mind, then I am well satisfied. I know you came to learn from me, so I will do my best to honor your good intentions. Let us ensure that you understand the concepts of labeling, control fallacies, and Nosferatu thinking. I will give you a series of statements, and each one will contain a cognitive distortion for you to identify. I will begin.
Okay.
If I invite over my vampire friends, I know I'm going to have to deal with guano all over the place when they turn into bats at the end of the night.
Okay, so that, I believe that way, because you're not control. So it's Nosferatu, black and white. Like, it's going to happen. No, you don't know that's going to happen.
Well, that ain't right. He's acting powerless,
Ah,
like a
fudge.
man clinging to the whiskey bottle. What Andromaco say that distortion was?
Gosh darn it. Alright, so that would be the control fallacy? Oh.
If I invite over my vampire friends,
Well, there's a control fallacy,
Okay.
sir. You're acting like you've got no control, but you could lay down some ground rules for guests, or some newspaper.
Alright, these two throw me off a little.
or express concern to my friends that they have not been toilet trained. Very good, Samuel. Let me try another.
Is that a problem in the vampire community?
I am Andromachus, the ancient darkness, the scourge of the Mediterranean, the mortal's bane.
Okay, so that would be too much control.
Oh, wait a minute, he's
Gosh
branding
darn
himself
it.
with awful names. What was that?
I am
Well, that's definitely some intense labeling. Those are some hard names to get over.
I mean, but like, isn't that the I have too much control one? Or is it kind of both? Eh.
You are not wrong. Those names followed me for millennia. It was most stifling. Let me try another then. If my club's revenues do not significantly increase, I will end up living on the street.
Okay, so that would be the black and white one.
That there's got to be Nosferatu thinking. There's a huge space between making a ton of profit and living on the street.
Indeed, you are correct. I run my club at a considerable loss, but 3,000 years of banking interest means that money is not really an object to me anyway.
Yeah, that works out well.
Samuel, now I am not only intrigued by you, but also impressed. I would very much like to teach you my ways, but I must demand something of you first.
Anything. I'm here to learn.
You must receive therapy yourself. I will not have you seeing clients without a commitment to your own mental health.
Oh, now, hold on just a minute. I don't know that I need therapy. I'm feeling pretty good about myself these days.
Everyone needs therapy. Everybody. Therapists need therapy. The whole world. Everybody. Go get a therapist. For the love of God.
Samuel, we all need therapy to live in this world. You have been speaking in cognitive distortions since the moment you walked into my office.
This is true.
I have. I didn't even notice.
They are most insidious, but I am here to help you identify and challenge them. You have walked alone for too long, Samuel. Allow me to share my experience with you.
I think that's kind of like the main thing of, we don't know everything. Even if you think you're okay or you're fine or like no one can help you, like it's just of like, hi, here's someone to talk to and be like, oh, well, in my experience, this might be something different. Or it's just kind of someone who's just going to sit there and listen to you talk. I've had plenty of therapy sessions where I just ramble on for the entire hour and she's just like, yep, okay. And like, it's, she doesn't say much, but she doesn't have to. It just kind of is nice to just kind of get it out, or else I'm just going to go inside my own head and it's going to like compound and compound and compound. It's nice just to kind of like get it out. But then you have someone be like, well, I really, when I get really down, and I get really stressed out about stuff, I guess this might sound bizarre, but I kind of like hearing other people's bad stories. Like if I'm really struggling with my finances, which is just everything, right? I go to my mother and I go, like, Bob, I'm having a really hard time and everything. And one of the things that she does that makes me actually feel a whole lot better is she tells me her story where she was a single mom with 2 kids and, picking up pop bottles on the side of the street to get grocery money and had to do all this kind of working like 3 jobs and didn't, they had cereal for a week straight sometimes because she couldn't afford food. And it was really, really, really rough. And she got through it and she did really well, and I'm just like, okay, my situation is not that bad. So I'm going to be okay. If you can get through that and be okay, I can get through what I'm going through and be okay. And that actually really helps me out a lot of times. And I do that quite frequently. So like, I'll go through my therapist and be like, all right, tell me your story. And I'm like, okay, you got through that and you were okay. I can get through what I'm going through and be okay.
Well, all right, if you say so. I appreciate your taking the time to work on this, old cowpoke.
All right, you're labeling, sir.
We have all the time in the world, Samuel. But for now, you must be eager for something fresh. Please, dance, drink your fill. We will begin tomorrow.
I am a little bit confused by the difference between these two. We'll say that.
Okay, then. Well, sir, it's been an honor.
But this one, I have 0 problem. Because that's something that drives me nuts in real life, too. People put themselves down all the time. And I'm just like, none of that is true. None of that is true. And I don't understand where humanity has gotten that thing. Like, you know what I mean? You are awesome. You are so smart. You are so good at so many things. You don't have to be good at everything in this universe. I think perhaps we get that from school or something like that, like you failed a test or like math. I'm not good at math. I suck. I'm not smart and anything. Okay, you just don't have a math brain. You have a something else brain. I have a math brain. I'm fabulous at math. You know what I'm not fabulous at? A lot of stuff. Practical things. My car breaks down? I have no idea what to do. But there are wonderful, amazing, brilliant people in my life that are really, really bad at math. But my car breaks down? Oh my gosh, they'll have it fixed. I don't have to take it to a mechanic or do anything. Boom, my brakes are replaced. Boom, this is fixed. I'm like, how did you do that? Because my brain doesn't work that way. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. It means my brain doesn't work that way, and I don't know how to do these certain things. If I spent some time on it, I could probably watch YouTube things and figure out how to do it myself, but I got a lot of stuff to do. These things don't mean you're dumb. It just means your brain doesn't work in a certain way. Stop putting yourself down. Look in the mirror. You're flipping gorgeous. You are so talented at the stuff that you are good at, which doesn't have to be what everyone else is good at. I'm an amazing writer. I am a terrible artist. I don't have an artist brain. I cannot draw. But, oh man, I can write like no one's business. Focus on the stuff that you are good at and tell yourself how good you are. I think that's like one of the very first things is affirmations. Affirmate, yourself. Like, go to the mirror every single day and say out loud 3 things that you are good at. 3 things that you like about yourself. I don't like anything about. Okay, that is not true. There are things that you are good at. What are the things that you are good at? And tell yourself, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. And even if you don't believe it, keep saying those things because it rewires your brain to believe it. You know, of just like, you know what, I'm a kind person. That's a great thing to be. You know, I am a successful person. All right, you might not be successful in the way of the world, lots of money or whatever, but like, are you successful at living? Are you breathing still? Are you a successful cook? Yeah, what are you successful at? I cannot cook. I can't cook to save my life. You don't want to see me cook. But I am successful in other things. Am I a successful YouTuber? I don't make any money off of this. I'm itty bitty teeny tiny. But you know what? I'm doing pretty good, I think. And I'm proud of what I've done. Say good things about yourself. Stop putting yourself down. Drives me nuts. So much smarter.
You don't have to call me sir, you know.
All right then, Andromachos.
Andromachos.
Hey, Andromachos.
Just call me Andy.
I was waiting for it. I was like, it's probably going to be Andy.
All right, Andy. I'll see you tomorrow then.
Andy does not fit him. Like a 3,000-year-old vampire of like suave, cool epicness. And I am Andy.
Dang, look at all them mortals, sweating, blood pumping. I am thirsty. There ain't no power on this earth that'll get me on a dance floor.
Alright, what do you got to say? Alright, so we got these things. We all make cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortion types ain't weapons to beat ourselves up with. They're just ways to categorize our thoughts. We can exhibit more than one distortion at the same time, and some distortions are even subcategories of other distortions. Oh boy. Important. Identifying cognitive distortions is just one tool in the therapist's toolbox. Empathy and compassion are some of the best tools we got. Ain't that the truth? It costs you absolutely nothing to just be kind. Oh, is that it? Okay, that's fine.
Maybe I'll see if the bartender's got anything for me.
If it isn't Clint Eastwood again. How'd it go, cowboy?
Seems I'll be sticking around. Guess I'd better get used to things around here.
Good to hear. About time someone helped Andy with his work. Seems you vampires have a lot of problems to fix. Name's Crimson, by the way.
Fine meeting you, Crimson. How do you know so much about what Andy's doing?
Pillow talk. I'm his blood partner.
Oh.
No shit. How's a mortal get hooked up with an ancient vampire?
I'm a rock climber. I stumbled into one of his lairs in Madagascar, found a cave while climbing a mountain, and there he was, naked in a hot tub.
Dang, must have been a sight.
You ain't kidding, cowboy. Didn't expect a luxury apartment with a gorgeous naked vampire inside of a mountain.
I was about to say I hate when that happens, but I probably would love if that happened.
We hit it off, and he asked me to come back here with him. I like an adventure, so I said, what the hell? I'll date the gorgeous Dracula. But what are you doing talking to me, cowboy? The blood's running hot on the dance floor, and these kids don't mind a little biting.
Ain't no way I'm dancing. There's gotta be a better way to get something fresh to drink.
Reinhard, look, it's the sexy old guy again.
Oh god, it's the goths!
You should buy us a drink, old guy. You'll probably get lucky. Actually, you will definitely get lucky.
Pleasures of the flesh ain't exactly what I'm after tonight.
That's because you haven't experienced these pleasures with us yet. Buy us a drink and you will discover great satisfaction by uns.
Tell them you're not your type, alcohol's bad for them, you don't have money, tell them they can support themselves. I don't actually think I have money. I'm broke, my
I ain't
dudes.
buying you a drink. All I got are good old-fashioned dollars.
I like American money. All we have on our money are buildings. You have all the sexy old men.
All right, I'll bite. Which of them old men are sexy?
I like Hamilton. His posture is just so powerful.
There is a dollar coin that has Eisenhower's face on it.
Oh, you are right. Eisenhower is, how do Americans say, a snack?
I get it. You like older men.
Can support themselves?
I ain't buying you a drink. I think I'd be insulting your economic status.
Mein Lieber, don't worry about us. We just like to feel special. We have lucrative jobs in IT.
That's not what I would go with first, but I mean, you know, to each their own. I would love it if I called the IT department and got this pair.
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe you can help me. See, my printer died again. Getting real tired of these things.
Oh, please, we are here to party. But get a laser printer.
Well, thanks for the tip. That ink seems to be more valuable than blood.
Alcohol's not good for you.
I ain't buying you a drink. This stuff's terrible for you.
Are you making a joke? We are at a bar.
It's okay. He's just trying to be protective. Aren't you, Opa?
You know, I think the drinks here ain't strong enough for you, too.
Alright, well, I guess you're not my type. Nah, I'd join in. They'd be my
I ain't
type.
buying you a drink. You ain't exactly my type.
Oh, we don't want to marry you. We just want to have fun with you.
You kids are too much. Well, these kids just ain't gonna leave me alone.
Buy him a drink.
Stop teasing the cowboy, Kinder. They're just messing with you. Drinks are free here.
Dang, really? Ain't never been to a saloon with free hooch.
Call it a drink exchange.
Huh. So, everyone here knows they might be sharing blood?
Only as long as there's consent. We like to create a safe environment here. Why don't you take Reinhard and Maxie here back to the kink room?
Oh.
Wait, kink room?
Mm-hmm. You're not in Kansas anymore, cowboy. We are not afraid of sex here.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
I'm from Missouri, but, point taken.
Nobody has to do anything they don't want to do in there. Just have fun and drink your fill, handsome. I'm sure I'll be seeing plenty of you.
Gonna take him back to the kink room and just to give him some therapy. They come out crying and everything. I'm just like, I need to change my lifestyle.
Maxie, Reinhard, this is one of our special customers.
Ach so, ein Vampir. I'm thinking we are all getting lucky then.
My neck scrubs with anticipation.
Oh, does it now?
Dang. Guess I'm going to a kink room then. Thanks, Crimson.
I knew a man who wore this much leather couldn't be boring.
Yeah, well, you got me pegged.
Well,
Is that what we are doing now? Give me the document and I will sign myself up for it.
I was waiting for that.
I really ain't in Missouri no more. Look, I'm more into biting.
Oh, your teeth look perfect. Are you going to bite me with those?
I was not expecting this in this game today, but I'm not complaining.
That's the plan. Who's going first?
Oh, me.
Well, step right on up.
Oh, I'm sorry. What, I got a mini game?
Oh, das hat sich gut angefühlt.
I don't German.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Is it my turn yet?
Did I get it?
Sure thing. Come on over.
Oh, Reinhard, the hot old vampire wore me out.
Me too, Maxie. I feel as though I have set up a mail server.
Oh man, that's rough, buddy.
Reinhard, mein Zuckerfledermaus. Ich bin so müde, sexy zu sein.
Somebody's sexy. That's I see that part. Gosh almighty, German. I can't even. Mine, isn't that my?
I will get us a taxi cab, Liebchen. Und du, cowboy? Next time we will talk about that thing you mentioned earlier.
Oh, will we now?
Oh, yeah, sure thing, fella. You can help me with my new laser printer.
That was not what he was talking about.
Now that I've had something to drink, I should probably get to my coffin.
Samuel, wait a moment. I see you got your fill. Are you heading out?
Yeah, I figure I could use some shut-eye. I locked up my coffin over at the storage center.
Storage center. Please, you can use my guest coffin. I insist. You must be well rested for the challenges ahead.
Guess I got a big night tomorrow, huh? I should get a good day's sleep.
Wonderful. Please, follow me.
Well, dang. This is mighty plush.
It's got
Guess it's
TV.
one of them smart coffins.
Eye coffin, Apple coffins.
Let's see what's on TV. Hey, I remember this movie. We were so proud to finally get some representation. Not sure I should stay up watching movies, though.
Is that like OG Dracula? It's been a long, long time since I've seen it.
Well, ain't much else to do in here. I think it's about time I hit the hay. Hope I'm cut out for all this.
Samuel, good evening. I hope you slept well.
The dead, as they say.
I was hoping to save you some breakfast, but I've already sent them on their way.
Shame.
Oh, that's all right. I'm still pretty full from last night. Them goth types were practically throwing themselves at me.
I am not surprised. Perhaps I should be concerned that some of my guests will follow you home.
Well, gosh, if I still had mortal circulation, I'd be blushing.
It's the accent, definitely.
Why are you so embarrassed, Samuel?
Accents are sexy.
Ah, hell. Guess we should just save it for therapy, huh? We gonna get started now?
If you like.
Why not? I'm eager to get going. Let loose, Doc.
Very well. Let's start with the first question any therapist asks then. What brought you to me? Why is becoming a therapist so important to you?
Well, gosh, I remember what it was like. Being all angry, hungry, and scared all the time. It ain't no way to live. When I see vampires acting the way I used to, I just need to show them there's more to unlife.
And why is that up to you?
You, of all people, know how lost our kind can be. Preying on the weak, dating mortal high schoolers.
Gosh darn sparkly vampires dating mortal high schoolers. I appreciate the Twilight dig.
I've got to make them see their potential. That's what I'm here for. I know it.
That is a lot of responsibility to place on yourself.
You got a funny look in your eye. Am I doing one of them distortion things?
That would be a control fallacy?
You are most perceptive. Yes. Perhaps you can tell me what it is.
Like, I have to do something about it, right?
When you say you are here to make vampires see the world differently, in what way are you distorting reality?
I really get these two mixed up, but I think that's giving yourself more control than you really have. You can help.
Well, I guess that's a control fallacy, right? I can't assume I'll be able to help other vampires the way I was helped.
Very good, Samuel. Control fallacies are hard to avoid when one feels strongly about something. Your fate is not to transform every vampire you ever meet, even those who are your clients. You will do what you can do, and that is enough. But I am eager to learn how you develop this desire to help our kin find a different way of thinking.
Well, like I told you when I first V-mailed you, I was a real nasty son of a bitch when I first became a vampire. When I look back and see what a no-account piece of shit I was, I ain't nothing but embarrassed.
Are you labeling yourself, sir?
It all seems pretty stupid to me now. Here we are living forever and all we can do is kill? That's the dumbest thing I ever did here.
I am going to stop you for a moment. Stupid, no-account piece of shit, nasty son of a bitch, dumbest thing. Do you hear the way you are talking about yourself?
With respect, sir, I earned all them names. I killed women and children. Half the ghost towns out west are my doing. I didn't think of nobody but myself.
Pretend you are my therapist. If I sat here and called myself a no-account piece of shit, what would you tell me?
You're labeling
I'd say you
yourself.
were doing some labeling. And I guess I'd tell you to look at yourself a little more kindly.
Extend the same compassion to yourself then, Samuel. How are you to move on from being a nasty son of a bitch if you are labeling yourself? If you wish to be a guide to other vampires, you must start with compassion for them and for yourself. So, now that you've gotten all that horrible name-calling out of the way, please tell me, how did you find your sense of purpose?
Well, I was on the run, you see. The Wild West was ending, and the Pinkertons were starting to get the better of my gang. I went into hiding and found a strange group of folks out in the country. They knew I was an outlaw right away, but they didn't judge me for it. They didn't even care that I was a vampire. They welcomed me like a friend, even shared their blood with me. They taught me how to appreciate the beauty of the night, and I started seeing things I'd never noticed before. They taught me my letters, philosophy, and how to question things instead of being scared of them. I think about them every day of my own life. They somehow freed themselves of all the judgments of the time and were better off for it.
These must have been the 19th century American transcendentalists, yes?
Yes, sir. I'm glad I died when I did, because their like just don't exist no more.
I do not know what that is at all.
Once my community died out, I started walking. That was something else they taught me how to do. There ain't nothing like having a walk and a think. I walked in nature for about 90 years and just took in all the grace and beauty of my country. I guess I was kind of selfish, though. I should have been helping other vampires the way the transcendentalists helped me.
Why?
Why waste 90 years walking when I should have been helping others? Seems pretty obvious to me. I could have done a lot of good in that time.
But your should turns that which you could find fulfilling into a duty. You create an extrinsic motivator.
My therapist gets on me all the time for that. Using should. I should do this, should do that. I should have done that. Like, can't change the past. And putting should on stuff in the future just kind of gives you this, like, expectation, which isn't actually a reality. Like, what do you need to do, and what do you want to do? Not that you should do it. I'm like, I should, do my homework. Well, okay, do you need to do it today? Like, yeah, I need to do my homework, so I need to get on that, and I will do it, Not that I should, because should's kind of like loosey-goosey. I get in trouble with that one all the time.
Should statements are another cognitive distortion, something created by your own mind. Nature asks almost nothing of you.
Oh, look, it's a whole other label.
Even if your should comes from a place of good, it creates undue pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we do once we are pressured? We resent the shoulds. We procrastinate. And as you know, we have a lot of time to procrastinate.
Oh, cool. I feel a little bit better about myself of just like, that's kind of what I just said.
You got that right. Why do today what you could do next century?
Yeah.
Exactly. Should statements remove the intrinsic joy from that which you find fulfilling?
Hold on, though. Ain't there some things we really should do?
Of course, there are things we must do. But nature herself tells us what they are. We invent the rest. Here, let me give you an exercise. Listen closely. See whether you can find the should statement that is a distortion. I should go to the vampire dentist. You know what they say. If you have bad fangs, you get bad blood.
I think that's like, very bad. I think that one's okay.
I should drink blood today.
I think that one's okay.
I should take my blood partner Crimson out on a date.
Saying you should take Crimson out on a date is a should statement. You've turned something you want to do into something you have to do.
That's right, Samuel. You know, I couldn't be more pleased with you. Your time in nature was clearly well spent.
Yeah, it's like, it's really hard to identify which one's, like, actually the bad one.
Well, thanks, I suppose. But if you don't mind my saying so, I hope you're treating that mortal lady right.
I think, like, so the okay should ones are just, like, the general things of, like, yeah, it's like, it's like, I should eat food, like, well, every day. Is that one? Because he goes, I should drink blood today. Like, well, that's really a hard one of determining which ones are bad ones. Like, if it's specific, like, I should take you on the date, I should do my homework, stuff that you could procrastinate. You can't actually procrastinate eating. I mean, you can put it off, but you need to eat to live, right? So that's like, maybe, possibly, I'm still figuring it out.
Thank you. Please, ask her yourself. I imagine she would share her blood with you. You look like her type.
Hold on. I've only been in Europe for a couple of days. I ain't gonna go after my teacher's girlfriend.
She does what she wishes, and that is why I chose her as my blood partner. Samuel, even if it beats no longer, you have a good heart. I think you will be an excellent therapist.
So far, that good heart of mine hasn't amounted to much, but I'm willing to give it my best shot.
You are uncomfortable with praise, aren't you, Samuel? Every time I say something positive, you find a way to negate it.
I know a few people like that.
I just don't think I should be doing any bragging. I spent my first 50 years killing. I spent the next 90 walking in the woods.
No, you're doing stuff down here.
I've tried to walk a better path since then, but I ain't no saint, Auntie.
I did not say you were. Having met several so-called saints, I can attest that none of them were either. I understand your discomfort, Samuel. I, too, have done terrible things that I cannot erase. But is erasing the good I have done worthwhile?
Well, I guess when you put it like that, it sounds kind of silly.
It's another cognitive distortion, one that mortal psychologists call disqualifying the positive. I understand that the actions of your past are difficult to bear, but what we are here to do is accept reality, with both its positive and negative aspects. I am not saying that you should disqualify your negative actions, but merely note when you disqualify the positive ones.
It's like you kind of have to accept that both happen. Like, no matter what, I mean, yeah, there are extremes, but your life isn't the worst thing on the face of the planet. Everything doesn't suck. Everything isn't terrible. Everything isn't awful and miserable and everything. There are good things. Even if you're in tough situations, there are still itty-bitty tiny specks of light and good stuff. And you do have to acknowledge the good things with the bad things. It's like, yeah, bad crap happens all the time, but so does good stuff. You know, you can't, it's like the always statements, right? Like, no, things always turn out bad. No, that's not true. Things don't always turn out bad. Sometimes they turn out good, and you need to acknowledge when they turn out good as well. You know, sometimes things, don't work out, and they do turn out bad, but sometimes they turn out good. Acknowledge when both happens.
Let us try an exercise. See whether you can challenge me when I disqualify my positive deeds.
Okay.
I am Andromachos, one of the most powerful vampires alive.
You didn't say anything bad.
Before I became the vampire I am now, I did exceptionally terrible things.
No, I don't think so.
I have defiled the innocent. I have killed countless people.
Okay, but that's not disqualifying
The
positive.
good I now do pales in comparison to the evil I have done.
That one.
That's the one. You're literally disqualifying the positive by comparing it to the evil stuff you done.
Well done, Samuel. I believe the recognition of this distortion will serve you well when you start to see clients tomorrow.
Whoa, tomorrow? I only just started learning these here cognitive distortion things.
I will, of course, be with you. You needn't worry. I can sense your instincts and will help you.
But tomorrow, I just don't feel ready yet.
My friend, we are never truly ready. But if it would ease your concerns, we can practice with further examples. Would that be helpful to you?
Yeah, I would like some more examples.
Yeah, I think I could use the help.
Very well, Samuel. Let's try some examples. I will give you a statement, and you find the cognitive distortion in it. I am far sexier than movie vampires. Therefore, I should be a movie star.
I think that's, oh gosh, what the heck? Star. Is that a should statement, or I have some, no, I think it's a should.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. That's
Oh,
a
so
should
easy.
statement right there. You're not insecure enough to be an actor anyway.
Excellent, Samuel. Would you like another exercise?
Just one more.
If I cannot consume high-quality blood, I might as well drink blood from Florida.
That's funny. Sorry, people who live in Florida. All right, so that sounds like, oh, see, black and white. All right, hold on. Let me look at the book. So these two, honestly, just really confuse me. I don't, no, book. Oh, do I really have to flip through the, I don't, oh, it's back. Okay. These two. If do or die, win in the day, or end up mistake. It's thinking in extremes without ignoring all the stuff in between. Alright, so that would be Nosferatu thinking, not like the helpless one. Alright.
That's Nosferatu thinking, ain't it?
Correct, Samuel. That being said, I am sure there is still decent blood to drink in Florida, but I will bring a test kit anyway. Would you like another exercise?
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Not really,
All
but
right,
sure.
Samuel. You must be hungry now. I suggest you get a liter inside you. We have a big night tomorrow.
How much is a liter?
Okay. I'm pretty terrible with the metric system, which is, my own fault. But I know what a liter is because you can get a liter bottle.
Just get enough to drink, Samuel. We will not be able to work if you are hungry or tired. Now, please excuse me. I do have a date with Crimson tonight. I suspect I shall not return until nearly morning.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, of course. I hope you have a nice night out, Mr. Andy.
Oh, for some reason they didn't want to say. You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace. I definitely can't do a voice that sexy or good.
Ah, Samuel, glad to see you are awake. Your first client is on his way.
Wait, what's in the jar? No, wait, no, come back here. Come back here. Alright, here we go. I learned some more therapy stuff today. Figure I've been doing a lot of this disqualifying the positive thing. I feel like I've got to be humble after the shit I pulled back when I was a bastard, but maybe that's just the shame talking. Andy says I'm ready to start seeing clients now that I've got my head wrapped around this whole cognitive distortion thing. Can't believe it's all happening so fast. Went for a nice walk exploring Leipzig. Never get that right. There's a music school here, and the kids are always performing stuff. I tried asking for Oh Susanna, but kids today don't appreciate good music. Dang kids with their CD-ROM music. The wax cylinder was fine. I love that. Bring back the wax cylinders.
What, already? Look, Mr. Andy, sir, are you sure I'm ready for this? These are people's brains I'm messing with.
Fear not, my friend. You are a powerful vampire in your own right. To be so young and have so much empathy is quite a gift. All you need to do is listen, and I know the truth will reveal itself to you.
Shucks, wish I had your confidence.
Well, to a limited extent, I can see the future. If you are about to misinterpret a client's distortions, I will set you back on the right path.
You can see the future?
It's not that impressive, really. You start to see the patterns after 1,000 years or so.
Is that disqualifying the past?
Well, dang. If seeing the future ain't impressive, that's gotta be a distortion. Disqualifying the positive, it's gotta be.
You barely require my aid as it is.
No, I definitely need your aid.
If you need guidance, I will provide it to you telepathically.
Oh, cool.
Don't think about it too much. When you are 3,000, such things will cease to impress you. Let us look at your first client's case file.
Dr. Drain, huh? You ain't got no first name?
430, gender male, origin English. Dr. Drain is a class of 1614 graduate of the Royal College of Physicians. He has been studying the nature of blood for the last several centuries. Became a vampire after a post-mortem blood transfusion experiment. Now runs a global pharmaceutical research company. He is now concerned that he has developed an addiction to a drug of his own formulation. Suggestion detected strong irritability on the phone. Investigate Drain's drinking and sleeping habits.
Many vampires go by one name. Families and titles seem to become more abstract after a certain age.
Huh. So is it funny that he kept the title?
Indeed. You catch on quickly, despite your habit of disqualifying the positive.
He does seem kind of cranky.
I will let you work now. I shall be meditating in my coffin, but I will sense when you need my help.
Oh, cool.
But I...
Samuel, I know you can handle this. Be yourself, and all will be well.
Satan bless it all, I hate flying!
You seem like a real charmer.
Hey there. God's blood, what on earth are you? My name's Sam. I'm the new therapist. Make yourself comfortable, Dr. Drain. And American as well. Good God. It's not enough for you lot to take over the world of the living. Even the halls of the dead aren't safe from you. Oh well. I suppose your lot are all into this touchy-feely stuff, aren't you? And ignorance, even American ignorance, is bliss, I suppose. Oh, sweet ignorance, how I do wish I knew thee.
You are a real charmer. Yeah, right.
Damn it, how am I gonna work with this fella? I gotta ask Annie.
No, you're fine.
Are you all right, Samuel?
You gave me this fella as my first client?
Right?
Why not? He is clearly hiding very little about his state of mind.
How am I supposed to help him when he already sees me as the bad guy?
Use your instincts, Samuel. Think about how you have felt in your darkest hours.
It's all just about relating to people, huh?
What does this poor vampire want?
He wants to complain.
I think he just wants to complain.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Perceptive, Samuel. He can hardly stop himself, can he?
So what? I just let him complain?
Yeah, just listen.
Of course. Just give him a starting point to let it all out. It will make him feel better.
Well, if you say so.
Don't worry, Samuel. You are doing wonderfully. I will release your time now.
Well, are you just going to sit there? I was just gonna ask how your trip here was. My trip? My trip was bloody wonderful. Until my familiar got a flat tire and I had to fly 30 kilometers here as a bat. I hate being a bat and I hate flying. Do you know an owl tried to eat me?
I couldn't be a therapist. I could.
Me, a creature that has lived for centuries, treated like common prey. I'm surprised he was even interested. You should see what an ugly little beastie I am when I transform.
Ah, you, sir, saying bad things about
All
yourself.
I could do was screech and squeak until he went away.
That's not true either.
Well, I suppose I'm alive, in a manner of speaking anyway. You all right there, pal? Yes, I'm fine. Well, I'm not, of course. I wouldn't be here otherwise. But for the sake of conversational integrity, fine. I take it you've read my case file and know why I'm here?
You have an addiction. His horse died.
You're here for an addiction problem. Yes. Embarrassing, isn't it? What's to be embarrassed about? I remember when Ulysses S. Grant was president. Didn't seem to bother him. Oh, well, of course. How wonderful it is that I share the mental failings of people who only live a single lifetime. Hey, come on now. There's a part of us that's still mortal. Can't help that, just like we can't help being dead. So I'm discovering. Look, I just need some tips and I'll be on my way. Just give me all the tricks. Whatever one does to make addictions go away.
I mean, if it was that easy, you could just Google it.
Tips? Let me think.
Suggest a hug. Something tasty. A milder day. There are no easy solutions to that. 100%.
Partner, there ain't no tips that'll magically cure you. But I'm here to listen. You know, I never in my life thought anyone would ever call me partner. Like partner, but not with a T. And I know how you English love your tea. Thank goodness we can still process tea. We cannot live on blood alone.
Tea is the best.
I appreciate the concern, though. I must admit, I rather saw myself above this whole addiction thing. I tell you what, let's not worry about being above or below anything. You're here now, so let's see what we can do. What exactly are you addicted to? It's a form of plasma, a catalytic compound of my own design, a necessary component of my own scientific goals. You're losing me. Well, let me try to make it simple. I have been able to replicate and even alter the molecular patterns that vampiric erythrocyte surface receptors receive. Our unique physiology gives us an increased ligand affinity, which is how we are able to process blood the way that we do.
Hey.
I can extend this receptivity and thus achieve my true goal: synthetic blood, freedom from the hunger that plagues us, and hope for all humanity. Well, dang, that sounds pretty impressive, Doc. Well, it doesn't work without a vampiric catalyst, and that is the plasma I am addicted to. Pathetic, isn't it? I have spent 400 years trying to steal the secret of blood, only to be engulfed by it, like Prometheus walking into a fireplace. Pathetic? Doc, where the heck would you get a word like that? You've come up with a synthetic blood. Man, I can barely get my spurs on some mornings. Maybe you've had a setback or two, but give yourself a little credit, compadre. Credit? For wasting 400 years? Practically speaking, I'm in the same place as I was back when King James was in power. Only now I have a drug problem. Perhaps I must face facts. My professor was right. Nothing we ever do will make a damned bit of difference.
Wait, that's control fallacy.
Samuel, listen to him. Do you recognize his patterns of thought?
There's some distortions in there, ain't there?
I knew you would sense them. Invite him to talk more about this failure of his.
I'll do my best. Now hold on just a minute there, cowpoke. I've heard you talk a lot about failure, but it sure sounds to me like you ain't thinking clearly if you think you're a failure. I am a realist, that's all. Look at me. 400 years of study and still dabbling with leukocytes.
How do you know what leukocyte is? Okay, so... that would be the hopeless one. Which I think is just control fallacy. Yeah. No?
Let me aid you, Samuel. Our doctor friend is using belittling language. What kind of distortion does that indicate?
But doesn't he feel super hopeless and there's nothing that they can do with
Look
him?
at me. 400 years of study and still dabbling with leukocytes.
Okay, so that would be labeled. Gosh
Let
darn
me
it!
aid you, Samuel. Our doctor friend is using belittling language.
There's a whole bunch of them that it could be.
400 years of study.
Let me aid you, Samuel. Our doctor friend is using belittling language. What kind of distortion does that indicate?
I guess then it would be
400 years
this
of
one,
study, and I don't know many people who would call working with leukocytes dabbling. I mean, I gotta admit, I have no earthly clue what you're talking about. So unless you made up all them science terms, I think you might be doing more than playing with a chemistry set. Perhaps, but if we consider all there is to know about blood, I know precious little. But you know something. Yes, I concede I might know something about blood. I would hope so after 400 years. You still got more knowledge about blood than most, whether it's been 4 years or 400 years, amigo. Let's get back to what you were saying, though. I'm saying I am surely the oldest, most well-studied doctor in the world. I should have achieved more than this.
alright, well you said should.
Well, who said you should have achieved more? Isn't it obvious? I should have something to show for 400 years of work. And what happens if you don't? Absolutely nothing at all. Well, that's my point. That is not as encouraging as you think it is. Ain't meant to be encouraging, just showing you a little reality. Well, it's all my fault, really. I cannot seem to motivate my scientists to reach the necessary level of dedication. It's always shocking to me how little urgency mortals have around death.
Okay, so would that be the control fallacy?
So it's all your fault that you haven't come up with the perfect synthetic blood. It can't be anyone else's fault. Only I have the skill, the knowledge, and the experience. Pardon me for saying so, Doc, but it sounds like what you're doing is pretty dang complicated. It sounds to me like you're some kind of god if you expect control over life itself. Please, I am a scientist, not a spiritualist. It is not control I seek, but understanding. And are you ever gonna have perfect understanding? No, of course not. I'm not a wizard. So how about not putting saving the world on one person, Doc? That is a simplification, but I take your point. As I was saying, now that I'm addicted to my own drug, I have joined the ranks of mortal celebrities in my utter irrelevance.
Okay. So... that labeling?
Now, why would you go and label yourself irrelevant? What else do you call a man who has nothing to show after 400 years? I reckon I'd call him by his given name. Slapping a label on yourself don't do nothing but weigh you down. Oh, well played, cowpoke. Perhaps I am being a little dramatic. Yes, I'm aware that in reality progress has been made, enough to get to this point. But I didn't come here to ask for a pat on the back and to be told I'm a good boy. That ain't my department, but I hear they do some of that stuff downstairs. Yes, we all know very well that the Continentals are more sexually liberated than we are. But as I say, I don't want all this therapy stuff. I just want to stop using this damn drug. So what's so good about this stuff anyway? Why do you like it? I'm not certain. I don't remember what happens after I take it, but I wake up feeling, how do I put this, alive. Well, that don't sound so bad. A good nap can make me feel like a new man. I'm not talking about feeling refreshed. I mean I feel alive. As if I'm someone else. Someone who lives. And I wake up and find, oh gracious me, I am not depressed.
Did you make an antidepressant blood?
You mean to tell me that you're going to sleep depressed every night? Oh, nothing of the sort. Oh well, I'm glad to hear that. You are assuming that I can simply go to sleep and my global scientific enterprise will run itself. Oh, wait just a gosh darn minute. You're telling me you don't sleep? Yes, it's not as though we can get much deader already, and I have work to do.
Wait. Is this drug of his, like, knocking him out? Did he make, like, a sleep drug, so in reality he's just actually sleeping and then waking up and feeling better?
So you're not sleeping, and you're always depressed. I think we're starting to get somewhere.
Oh, don't be such a bumpkin. If you are a sapient individual, aware of the world around you, depression is the only sensible reaction. It has nothing to do with sleep.
Okay. I think that one is the black and white one.
Come on now, it's a big world out there, and different things are depressing to different people. Everyone reacts to things differently. Ain't it true that a sensible person, as you call them, might even be a different degree of depressed?
Very well, I suppose I might have been using a bit of mild hyperbole.
Mild is putting it mildly, buckaroo.
Buckaroo? Now I'm even more depressed. Regardless, I didn't come here to be a whiner. Oh, boo-hoo, on life is hard. Yes, we all know it's hard.
All right, well, you're calling yourself a whiner. That's a
Now,
label.
why'd you say coming and talking to me makes you a whiner?
Is that not what I currently am?
Sounds to me like you're expressing yourself. Whiner is the word you used. Yeah, if you want to call it whining, that's up to you. But that's entirely your label.
Oh, very well, call it moaning or whinging if you prefer.
Moaning, whinging, belly aching, still all just labels.
I don't believe I shall be using the term belly aching in any case. But as I was saying, in the moments I wake up, I feel free. I suppose it must be what being an ignoramus feels like.
Don't know what that word means. I think it's the
So you're telling me you feel good when you wake up, and then you call yourself an ignoramus. Before you even get a chance to reflect on feeling good, you're insulting yourself. That's what I like to call disqualifying the positive.
I'm simply stating facts. Stating facts shouldn't impede an argument.
What good is that fact doing anyone? It's about as useful as an empty holster.
Lest I somehow forget that you are a cowboy. About this drug, though. Oh, very well. I suppose I might be discounting my experience.
I don't know how to say this, amigo. You really don't like letting yourself be happy. Honestly, I'm failing to see the problem with taking this stuff. Seems like it's making you get the rest you need and it makes you feel good. What's the problem?
First of all, I do not need to rest. And partaking of this plasma does have downsides.
I feel like he just made, like, sleeping medication.
What kind of downsides?
I do not know what happens when I partake of the substance. However, when I wake up, I feel refreshed. But I also smell of blood and sex.
Oh, no!
Once I even woke up wearing a football jersey. It was most distasteful.
I guess you must be having some kind of good time.
That is not my idea of a good time.
Are you sure about that?
I'm Dr. Drain. I am intelligent and worldly, not some ill-bred monster.
That puts on football jerseys and sleeps.
I don't go gallivanting into godforsaken places to engage in depraved coitus and the consumption of dirty blood.
It sounds to me like you're real good at denying yourself things.
Well, I should be better at it.
Well, that's a should statement.
You know, Doc, a wise old vampire recently told me something I'm about to tell you. You keep talking about the things you should be doing. You, compadre, are shoulding all over yourself.
Ha ha.
Oh, well, that is vivid, isn't it? I can now add incontinence to my already considerable list of faults.
I'm being serious. I'm listening to you tell me I should be doing this, and I shouldn't be doing that. But who gave you all them shoulds and shouldn'ts?
I don't know. It shouldn't matter, should it? I've been dead for over 400 years.
It's the oldest stuff that sticks with us, amigo. We all got traumas. Heck, we're dead, man. That's traumatic no matter what. What we gotta start with is you. You've been through a lot. Don't rope yourself up so tight. Listen, we're doing good work already, I know it. Now, let's not push too hard. I would really like you to think about where all them shoulds are coming from before we meet again. And be good to yourself, all right, partner? Don't feel like you gotta go cold turkey on that plasma stuff.
Yes, well, all the same, I'd rather not do it at all.
Is that actually gonna happen, though?
It might.
You're dipping into it tonight, aren't you?
Ah.
I was thinking about it.
All right, partner. Just give yourself a little compassion. That's all I'm asking.
I'll admit, you've given me some things to think about. Not pleasant ones, mind.
You can handle it, partner. You're way smarter than I am.
Yes, well, that is certainly true. Very well. I shall do some reflecting, inasmuch as our kind can reflect.
Ah.
I shall see you in precisely 4 weeks, then. Farewell, Sam.
Masterfully done, Samuel. I knew you would do well, but that doesn't make me any less pleased.
I'll say it, like, they're very, very confusing.
Well, that was a hell of a rush. That fella's holding on tighter than a holster to a gunslinger's hip. It felt real good to help him look at himself a little more kindly.
Good, Samuel. Treasure this feeling, but also rest. Go downstairs, get something to drink, relax in your coffin.
Put on a football jersey.
Next week you shall see a new client. I think they will be an interesting challenge for you. I bid you good evening, Samuel. Rest in peace.
It's really interesting, too, because I've met people who talk like that, just not the vampire stuff.
You
Just
too,
kinda
Andy.
like, why do you see life that way?
Well, I guess it's time I got me some grub.
Some more goths?
Well, that's it, I guess. My first client. Can't believe I'm doing this therapy stuff already. I sure could use a drink. I'll check in with Crimson.
Well, if it isn't Yosemite Sam, how you doing tonight, partner?
Better already, hearing from someone from the States who knows the lingo.
About to say, I was wondering when someone was going to make that joke.
I'm not from any states, cowpoke. District of Columbia girl here.
Ah.
I figured you must have been coastal. You sound a little more, polished than I do.
You should hear my German.
Oh, maybe some other time. My brain's full tonight. I had my first therapy session with a real client.
Oh, yeah? How do you think it went?
I mean, I think it went pretty good. Like, he didn't, leave and say he's never coming back.
I reckon it was a bullseye on my end. You should have seen me. Labeling, blam, disqualifying the positive, kapow.
I'm glad to hear it. Someone has got to sort these vamps out. They know how to hold on to their problems.
Yeah.
You ain't kidding. Living or dead, once people hit 70, they get pretty dang set in their ways.
Ha.
You know Andy still uses a typewriter? I can't get that gorgeous man to see the light. Keep it up, cowboy. You're a breath of fresh air for these ancient ones.
Anyone ever tell you you're wise beyond your years, Crimson? You must have had some life.
Afraid I'm exactly as wise as my years. How old do you think I am, cowboy?
Don't fall for the trap.
I'm gonna do the gentlemanly thing and not hazard a guess.
You would have gotten it wrong anyway. I'm 50 years young.
What?
50? I died around that age and I looked like shit. But you ain't a vampire.
Like I told you, I'm Andy's blood partner. He shares his blood with me too, just not enough to turn me into one of you. I've been 30 for a good while now.
But you ain't joining our team? Sounds like a story.
Not for tonight, buckaroo. I bet you're thirsty after a big night. Andy told me to give this to you.
Some goths?
Oh yeah, what is it?
We had a group of Americans come in last week who donated their blood. Andy can't stand the stuff. He says the blood glucose levels are too high, but he thought you'd appreciate it.
Oh, it ain't so bad. I gotta ask though, what does Andy's blood taste like?
To me, it tastes like life itself, cowboy.
I ain't sure I understand.
Never you mind. Look, Tex, I've got some customers to serve, so go enjoy your juice, okay?
Oh, of course. I'm keen to get some rest anyway. You have yourself a fine night, Crimson.
Interesting. It's very interesting.
There he is, my incredible protege.
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say? Ah, I met my first client tonight, and oh boy, he did not like me much. It sounds as though he doesn't like anybody much, though, so I can't be too disappointed. Poor fella. I ain't never seen anyone so high-strung. Well, maybe Lucifer Jones? 80 years later, and the memory of him still makes me laugh. That kitty even hated John Muir? And I think all his animals loved him. She would even hiss when eating her food. It was the darndest thing. Pussifer. You named your cat Pussifer. I picked up that this Dr. Drain is a real should statement kind of fella, but I think I can help him out. If I can get him to take a nap, I think he'd be a lot less grumpy. I agree with that. Just go take a nap, my dude.
Oh, come on now, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Evidence stands against that reasoning, my friend. Do we need to talk about disqualifying the positive again?
All right, I get it. I guess I've been muddling through okay.
You've been doing wonderfully. I hope you are ready for a bit of a challenge tonight.
Uh-oh.
Your next client has been known to be somewhat difficult.
Oh, joy.
Here, look at her intake form.
Isabella Deste. Dang, she's got some funny taste in hats.
Alright, 550, gender female, origin Renaissance. Isabella, what did they say? D'Este was a key figure in the Italian Renaissance, funding the works of Leonardo da Vinci, Andrea Mantegna, and Michelangelo. She received a humanist education and knows much about history, art, music, and philosophy. She comes from a highly aristocratic background, but has endured considerable family issues through the generations. She states that she is undergoing a existential immortality crisis, suggesting that her life and unlife have both been meaningless. Suggestion: be exceedingly polite.
I think you should get along quite well then.
Walked right into that one.
Isabella is not your average vampire. She was once the powerful matriarch of one of the most influential families in Europe. She fraternized with popes and kings, and she also wielded great power over the art world. Some say that she was the model for the Mona Lisa.
One of them highfalutin types, huh? I don't think she's gonna like me much.
She is as human as any of us, Samuel. I already know you will find a way to relate with her.
If you say so.
Remember, you can always seek my advice if you feel lost. You are not alone, but I hear the beating of elegant wings. Breathe, Samuel. Oh, and do be polite.
Very elegant wings.
Goodness. So you are the new therapist Andromachos told me of. I was not expecting someone so rugged.
Sam Walls at your service, ma'am.
You are a therapist.
Well, that's what I'm here for, ma'am.
Enough with this, ma'am. I am not running a whorehouse. You may call me Senora.
Oh no, you can't get it right. Senora. This one.
All right, Senora.
That's pretty close.
You have seen my what? Have you been peeking under my skirts, young man?
Huh? What are you talking about, lady?
Signora. Say it.
Signora.
Signora.
Signora. Signora.
Signora?
Porca miseria. This is not going to be easy, is it?
Therapy ain't never easy, Senora.
So, therapy is always easy then?
I said it ain't never easy, Senora.
Is therapy easy or is it not?
Not, I guess.
Oh, how are we to examine my inner demons if your own speech is so diabolical?
You know what? Let's start over. Greetings and salutations, Senora. I am most honored to receive you in my humble office.
Very well. I suppose it will do.
I'm just here to help, Senora. It says here on your intake forms that you've been having a tough time lately.
A tough time. Indeed, yes, it has been a tough time. The realization that not only am I a corpse, but that I have been a useless corpse for nearly 400 years is a tough time.
So what set off this feeling that you're a corpse?
I saw a film at the cinema.
Really?
Hey, I love the cinema.
What would you like? Hollywood glamour? Probably just movie. Well, glamour.
I can't get enough Hollywood. All that glitz and glamour. Them celebrities sure know how to look good.
Per favore, they look like employees of a peacock brothel. The battle between licentiousness and chastity has ended, and chastity has been utterly degraded on the battlefield. They should be ashamed of themselves, parading their young flesh for the adulation of fools. I could teach them about proper fashion, but alas, they would be incapable of hearing my wisdom.
I can tell I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Let's go back to this movie you saw at the cinema.
It was a most terrible film, one that shook me to my core. The pain of it lingers with me still 5 years later.
What movie could it be?
Well, movies can be pretty powerful. Heck, I remember seeing one of the first films. There was a train coming right for the audience. We thought we were dead for sure.
This film was not powerful. It was meaningless. It said nothing, did nothing, less than nothing, as loudly and garishly as possible. And the audience, fools that they were, cheered, applauded this desecration of the mind.
Ah.
I hate this film with all my being, for it has done the cruelest thing. It has revealed the dark truth. This life that I cling to has no purpose.
Dang, what the heck was this movie?
Right?
Space Wars. Rise of the Spacewalker.
Was that 5 years ago? 2019? Did it come out in 2019? It was before quarantine. Space Wars, Rise of the Spacewalker. I mean, honestly, what was that? The second one or the third one? Rise of Skywalker. That was the third one, wasn't it? I believe that was the third one. I can't remember. I don't remember. I really don't. I should. I really should. But, I mean, the modern 3 Star Wars movies were a little... I enjoyed as many aspects of them. I think I enjoyed those movies more than most people. Because if you get to... I mean, Star Wars fans go to war on those movies. I liked the first one. I liked the third one. The second one didn't make any sense.
Well, wait a minute. Space Wars, the big science fiction franchise?
Yes, I believe it is important to understand modern media diets.
That's true.
But that's the movie that gave you your personal crisis?
Mind your tone. Do not think me a fool. I know it was not high art. But the money it made,
Yeah.
it would make even the Pope blush.
I mean, when they returned to Star Wars, I personally don't think that any other movie could do what that one did. Because, of course, you have the original Star Wars movies, and then years and years and years later, finally you say you were redoing it, so you have all of this established hype of greatness. And then so many years, everyone and their mother went to see that movie. It didn't do as great as they wanted it to do, but I worked at a movie theater during my college years when that movie came out, and I remember that was a fun movie to work. But it was everywhere and did everything.
This stinking trash. This is what the people want. You see, I understand now. My attempts to infuse art with meaning were pointless. All that I am, all that I ever was, is dead.
Okay, so that one's the control one, because this is, like, the guy at the bar, right?
For such a complicated woman, the answers are overly simple for Signora d'Este, are they not, Samuel?
Okay, then is it
You see,
disqualifying the
I
positive?
understand now.
Gosh
such a
darn it.
You see, I understand now. My attempts to infuse art with meaning were pointless.
You don't seem that dead to me. We're having this conversation, ain't we?
Okay.
Ain't just lying there decomposing.
I'm really confused between the difference between the Nosferatu thinking and the control fallacy, because, like, this, they define the control fallacy as, like, the guy drinking the bottle. It's hopeless, you have no control, your power, you know, you didn't do anything. And then this is the black and white thinking, so it's kind of the same thing.
It is no different. I might as well be rotting in the ground.
I think you might get pretty bored.
Are you getting smart with me, boy?
Look, I'm just talking facts. If you're saying all you are is dead, I think you might be doing some Nosferatu thinking. It ain't black and white, you're here. But let's go back to what you were saying.
Once, I elevated art, and all the world benefited. Why have I lost my power to elevate art now?
Okay, so, alright, it's either this one or the positive.
All the world benefited? There's a lot of people, and they got a lot of different preferences. You can't get them all, can you?
But I could, once upon a time.
You can't reach everybody, Signora. I hadn't even heard of the Mona Lisa until about 1911.
Did you have any schooling whatsoever?
No, I didn't. But I don't think anyone in my time knew about the Mona Lisa either.
Oh, how wonderful. You add to my despair.
I'm saying you can't reach everyone, even in your own time.
That is true. I doubt the rabble had much of an opinion about the so-called great masters.
We only know what we know. But you were saying.
It was all for nothing. What good was guiding Da Vinci when they sell the Mona Lisa on beer coasters?
Come on now. Just because the Mona Lisa's been on a coaster doesn't mean that's all it's ever been for. I think you might be downplaying just what an impact you've had on the world.
The world needs no help from me to reduce my life's effort to cheap commodities.
So just because something gets printed on a t-shirt, that cancels out everything that's good about it?
Yes, that is exactly what it does.
Oh?
And I thought I was good at disqualifying the positive.
It should not be so. Art should have meaning, purpose. Beauty should expose truth.
Okay, well, you said should 3 times, so.
You're saying art should have meaning and purpose. But does all art need those things?
I mean, isn't that kind of the point?
What is the purpose of creation otherwise?
Well, I guess purpose. Like, if you don't do anything without a... I kind of disagree with that a little bit. Like, is it an It can have different types of purpose, but it needs to have a reason, right? Or otherwise, I just kind of, like, threw this here. Like, it doesn't have to have such grand reasonings. You have things for entertainment value, for... teaching value, like different types of purpose, but it's gotta have something, right?
How about if I just like doodling? Ain't that a good enough reason to draw?
Okay, that's a fair point.
It is a pointless reason.
Well, maybe I want to do something pointless. All I'm saying is that I don't have the same shoulds you do.
Okay, that is a fair point that I didn't consider.
Perhaps you should.
But I don't. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Fair.
Which is speak like a peasant.
Heck, that's what I am, Senora. Ain't nothing gonna change that reality. Let's get back to what you were saying.
But it seems I am just a dead woman. A walking corpse who is not worth listening to. I should walk into the sun.
Okay, so that one's labeled.
Now, why have you gotta go and call yourself names?
They are not names, they are my reality. I am a dead woman, and I am a corpse, am I not?
I think the first one's true, but not the second one.
Is that all you are?
This is how I am defined by the world.
Seems to me you're the one using them names. Hell, I think I'd be a little afraid of calling you a corpse.
As you should be. Allow me to continue.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, why are you allowed to call yourself that? But, like, if someone else were to call you that, like, you'd stab him in the heart.
You know, you make me sound rather mad. Like an old woman, railing at the world, screaming into the void, all to no purpose.
Look, Senora, all I'm trying to do is show you where you're a little rigid in your thinking is all. You're expecting a lot from the world and a lot from yourself. It ain't no surprise that you're gonna be disappointed over and over again.
I suppose that is some insight. Indeed, I have been in a state of disappointment from the moment I was 16.
That's a long time.
What happened when you were 16?
I got married.
I think I get it.
You absolutely do not get it. You are a man.
Well then, help me understand.
Frankie, my husband, he taught me the meaning of disappointment. He taught me the world was built upon lies. These things men proclaim as values. Truth, beauty, the spiritual. They were all fiction. But if men did not live according to principle, I would. I would set the example and shame them all. Yet, what a fool I have been to think humanity had greater aims.
So, what's this greater aim you're talking about?
I received a humanist education as a child. I was taught that the pathway to God was through rationality and a questioning mind, not slavish devotion to tradition. This world is not Eden, but it could be. Or so I thought.
So you're talking about a literal pathway to God?
No, fool. A pathway to godliness.
Different
to
things.
live according to our natures. Our true natures.
You mean being nudists? Being Italian? According to none of those seem correctly. I just want to click this one because it's funny, because it's not this and it's not that. Because she wasn't a vampire back then, so I just want to be funny.
You mean being nudists?
An utterly disgusting and prurient notion. Genitalia should be covered at all times.
Hold on, lady. Hold on. You were alive during the Renaissance period. There was nothing but naked people all over the place, especially in art. Cause it was the human body, the form. Like, that was not a thing. They didn't cover any genitalia. unless you were in the Vatican, and that was what what do they call it? The castration of the Vatican. One of like the popes went around with a chisel and cut off all the penises of all of the statues in the Vatican. I think there's like fig leaves on them now or something like that, because you know how inappropriate. But that isn't even remotely true for your time period.
Oh boy, you sound like a politician from my home state.
Then your politicians are very wise.
I ain't so sure about that.
They are at least sensible enough to know the purpose of the penis is procreation, not exhibition. Such a thing is not in God's image.
Well, talk to me about this pathway to God. How do you reckon we find this path?
I reckon nothing. I've always known that we can find our way back to God by fulfilling our human potential to be the greatest souls possible.
Okay, now that one's the control fallacy, because you don't know that.
You really think we've got that much control, Senora? All we gotta do is be perfect, and then we've got our pathway to the Almighty?
Yes, it seems quite clear to me.
Oh, is that all?
Senora, if that's how it is, it ain't no wonder you ain't forgiving yourself or anyone for the slightest mistakes. I would ask myself if anyone really has that much control. But keep talking.
I have always known we must master ourselves and our baser instincts. Virtue must triumph over vice.
Okay, so that's basically the same thing, right?
You've been around a while, Senora. In all that time, when have we mastered ourselves and our baser instincts?
Not a single day. Men especially have no bottom to their depravity.
All right, fair enough. So us fellas have disappointed you every day for a few hundred years, right? Ain't that proof that nothing you do is gonna change that?
An evil thought, Mr. Samwalls, but true, I concede.
We're in agreement then. It's a little bit of a control fallacy to think that's gonna change because of you. Well, let's keep going.
I have always known that the earthly lives we lead are disgusting, and only war and death can come of them.
Okay, that also seems like control, but that also, this says we lead. So it could be labeled, but I'm gonna keep with the control.
The
Nope.
world is very dark to our dear Senora, is it not, Samuel? I did not know my own life was so devoid of meaning.
Okay.
I have always known that the earthly lives we lead are disgusting, and only war and death can come of them.
So this one.
Hold up just a sec there, cowpoke. You really think all we can do is sow death and destruction?
Did you just call her cowpoke?
I do not poke cows. Do I look like a farmer?
Do not poke cows.
Come on, Senora. You've been alive to see what? 15, 20 billion people live and die? You really saying death and destruction is all each and every one of them ever amounted to?
Well, perhaps not individually, but as an immortal, I look at the greater arc of history.
Well, most of us ain't looking to contribute to the greater arc of history, but that don't mean life's pointless. That's some Nosferatu thinking, I'll tell you what. But let's continue.
I have always known the people have become fat and lazy, and living within the Garden of Eden is impossible in such a state.
Okay. So, I think that would be another one.
Our esteemed client is very good at coming up with names for others, isn't she? Perhaps you can call her out on this behavior.
Okay, so it's still labeling if it's other people.
Known the people have.
Sounds to me like you're coming up with labels for kicking people out of the Garden of Eden. Is that all we amount to? Fat and lazy?
Look around your own country, boy. Look at me. See my disgusting rolls and saggy features. Would you let me into the Garden of Eden?
Well, sure, why the heck not?
I am glad you are not the gatekeeper, then.
You rather have a gatekeeper who wouldn't let you in? Listen, Senora, you gotta go easy on yourself with them labels. Well, let's keep talking, though.
I have always known we should act with dignity if we would take our place at God's side once more.
Okay, there's a should.
I think this here's the meat of it, Senora. The filet mignon.
I fear your French is even worse than your Italian.
Here's the thing, Senora. Who came up with all them shoulds that'll take you to God?
Why, the greatest thinkers of history that I studied in my youth. Plato, Aristotle, Cicero. Aquinas.
Sounds like a bunch of dead guys to me. They really had it all figured out way back when, huh?
Well, of course not. How foolish do you think me?
Not at all, Senora. Just questioning where all them shoulds are coming from. But let's keep going.
So you think you are so very clever, do you, boy? That by pointing out my distortions, you have won? That is where you are truly the fool. I already know how wrong I have been, that I have been chasing an impossible fiction all my life. Indeed, I now believe that even if we did follow the pathway to God, once we reach the end, we would discover that he, too, was a work of fiction. When I say God, I mean goodness, propriety, intelligence. God himself is a lie.
I see. So you've lost your faith.
Yes, it has crumbled to dust, much like myself in this fat, wretched old body. Beauty and truth are lies, ideas developed by ugly men to justify their existence. While we occupy ourselves chasing those ideals, they create space wars to leech our money and our vitality.
How awful, creating space wars.
And to think they call me judgmental while they created the false ideal to judge against. You don't think I'm judgmental, do you, boy?
I'm gonna be honest.
I wouldn't put it that way exactly. Besides, I ain't gonna call you names. In fact, that's where I think I want to challenge you.
Oh, wow. I love how, like, even the game's like, nah, you shouldn't say that.
Senora, I think the person you're judging more than anyone is yourself. I know you got raised with all them high ideals, so of course you're getting disappointed when nobody can reach them. That's some heavy pressure, not just on them, but on yourself. I'd ask yourself what all that pressure's doing for you. Is it bringing you any satisfaction? We can't always control what things are gonna be.
This is not acceptable.
Hold on, I know this one. What the heck she mean it's unacceptable to not be in control all the time? Let's say that again, Senora. I got some bad news for you, Senora. None of us really has the power to change the world on our own. Not even a clever lady like yourself. I suggest we start working on ways of helping you find a way to accept the world for what it is.
But the world is base and unworthy.
Remember that term I told you about? Nosferatu thinking? You're gonna strip all the color out of the world if you keep doing that. The world's a lot more than just base and unworthy.
Nosferatu thinking. I am not used to having my own thoughts thrown back at me.
Well, that's why you're here, ain't it? I ain't gonna help you change the world, Senora. All I can do is help you find some other perspectives.
I suppose there is a certain simpleton's wisdom in the way you speak.
Thanks, I guess.
Very well, boy. I will consider what you have said. We will meet again in exactly 4 weeks. Do we have an understanding?
Yes, indeedy, Senora.
Ugh. Please learn to speak properly by then.
Well done, Samuel. I believe you handled Senora Deste quite well.
Oh, like every 4 weeks. It's not a lot of therapy.
You kidding? That lady straight up hates my guts.
Samuel, if Isabella Deste hated your guts, she would not be shy about telling you so.
Yeah, not true.
That I believe.
The older we get, the harder it is to gain a different perspective. Have patience. We are not all as wise as Samuel Walls.
Guess it's just that simpleton's wisdom, as the Senora called it.
Do not adopt her labels, Samuel. I will not stand for it. I know she was a challenge, but you rose to it as I knew you would. I think you deserve a night of hard drinking. What do you say?
Oh my gosh, all this therapy doing. I just need a night of hard drinking.
You don't need to tell me twice. All right, Andy. I'll see you later then.
Indeed, Samuel. Enjoy yourself. Excellent work tonight. Rest in peace.
All right. Yeah, that actually, hold on. Learn many more distortions. Oh, there's a ton of them. See, choose distortion. So, like, what's your issues? Meditate on immortal life. Here's a tall glass of water. Help strange new clients and appreciate fine art. Do you get to decorate your coffin? Well, I mean, it's straight up with what it is, too. And I'm like, I gotta say, like, you know, that's not what I was expecting, but, like, it is what it is. You're a therapist. It's a therapy game, which is interesting. And I'm just like, man, I feel like I just had my therapy session. Now I'm just like, oh, gosh, I don't question anything in my life. Am I using all these cognitive distortions or not? And oh, geez, oh, Pete. So, like, I feel like I just had a session. I guess multiple sessions, because I'm just like, but it's really, really cool what they're doing, you know? They put it really, really good, useful life tools that everyone, honest to God, needs. Everyone, go get therapy, please. For the love of God. If you think you don't need it, yes, you do. Yes, everybody could use somebody to talk to. Everybody, for everything, you know? If you think you don't need it, it doesn't hurt you. It only helps you. For anything. And I find that the people who could really, really use it the most are the ones who are so adamant that they don't need it. It doesn't make you some kind of crazy, strong, Hercules, a warrior person to deal with your own problems yourself without asking for help. And it doesn't make you a failure for asking for help. You know, everyone could use somebody, and if you think you have nobody, that's when you need this stuff the most, you know? If you don't have friends you can talk to, if you don't have family you can talk to, there's a billion resources out there to help you get the help you need. If you think you can't afford it, there's also options. My therapist is amazing. She doesn't charge me any money for it because I don't have a whole lot of money. I lost the insurance that I had that paid for it, and I said I can't afford. I meet with her every single week, once a week, and I couldn't afford $40 a week. That's a lot of money that I don't have. And she told me, she goes, I'm waiving the fee for you, and has done so for a couple of years. It's amazing, and it was very kind of her. So there are options if you think you can't afford stuff. There's stuff out there that can help you. There's always stuff out there that can help. Go and get help, everybody. And go play this game. This is actually really, really nice. I feel like I learned a whole lot of stuff, and it's really, really funny, too. I don't expect, like, the jokes that are in here, and it's cracking me up while, I mean, doing some good. And I love, like, they got some pretty impressive voice actors in here. I absolutely love Matthew Mercer as just a horny goth human person trying to hit on me. But, the description. Wait, not the description. The link to the game is in the description below. Holy Lord. I need some tea. Go give them some love. They did a good thing. If you enjoyed that as much as I did, hit that like button. We all like buttons. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so much. And I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye!